Hello and welcome back. The situation with Cullum forcing her to finish her daughter's unfinished project hits especially hard. We all remember how much Britt meant to Liesl, and the pain of losing her still lingers in the air of every scene. Cullum's pressure feels so personal, so cruel, that it makes perfect sense why Liesl would outwardly appear to comply while her mind works overtime on something far more dangerous. I've seen Liesl pull off impossible things before. And this time, she's not just surviving, she's turning the tables in the most scientific, methodical way imaginable. By secretly altering that biological compound the WSB has been chasing, she's transformed it from whatever breakthrough they hoped for into a slow-acting poison. That kind of quiet brilliance is exactly why I've always admired her. It's not flashy, it's precise, patient, and devastating. What fascinates me most is the moral tightrope she's walking. Here's a woman who would move heaven and earth for her family, yet she's preparing something that could potentially harm innocent people in the crossfire. Lucas being present at Windermere adds such a heartbreaking layer of tension. I keep asking myself, will her love for her grandson outweigh her burning need for justice against those who threaten what remains of Britt's legacy? The answer, at least in my heart, is that Liesl will find a way to protect Lucas she always does when it comes to the people she truly loves. But the risk feels real, and that uncertainty is what makes these episodes so gripping. Soap operas have always thrived on these impossible choices, and this one feels particularly raw because it echoes so many past storylines where Liesl has sacrificed pieces of her soul to keep her children safe. I have to say, the way the writers are building this revenge plot gives me hope that we're heading into one of those classic General Hospital arcs that blends medical intrigue with old-fashioned vendettas. Sidwell and Cullum arriving for their inspection feels like the calm before the storm. I can already picture the moment they realize something is terribly wrong with the compound. Will they suspect Liesl immediately, or will her performance of reluctant cooperation buy her enough time? I'm betting on the latter, at least for a few tense episodes. It reminds me of those brilliant cat-and-mouse games we saw years ago with other formidable women in Port Charles. Liesl is carrying that torch beautifully, and I couldn't be prouder as a longtime viewer. Of course, I have my own theories about where this is headed, and some of them might differ from what the show ultimately delivers, but that's half the fun of being a dedicated fan. I believe this sabotage is going to trigger a cascade of new complications that ripple far beyond Windermere. The WSB's involvement suggests larger intelligence community fallout. Perhaps old alliances will be tested, or maybe new players will emerge to clean up the mess Liesl is creating. And let's be honest, Cullum and Sidwell have it coming. Their arrogance in thinking they could control someone as resourceful as Liesl feels like classic villain hubris. I've seen enough of these stories to know that such overconfidence usually leads to spectacular downfalls, and I'm here for every minute of it. At the same time, I worry about the personal cost to Liesl herself. She's already endured so much loss. Introducing this slow-acting poison might give her a sense of control, but it also invites new dangers that could close in faster than she anticipates. The story has been hinting at escalating threats, and I suspect we're about to see some truly unpredictable adjustments in the plot. Maybe an unexpected witness, or a technical glitch in her modifications, or even Lucas stumbling upon evidence at the worst possible moment. These are the kinds of developments that keep me coming back year after year, the constant sense that safety is an illusion and that love and loyalty are tested in the most dramatic ways. One thing I particularly appreciate is how this storyline honors the medical and scientific side of General Hospital that has always set it apart. We're not just watching a revenge tale. We're watching a master manipulator work within the language of chemistry and biology. Liesl's expertise makes her revenge feel earned and intelligent rather than purely emotional. It elevates the entire narrative. I find myself wondering how many other longtime viewers are sitting in their living rooms, just like me, analyzing every glance and every careful word from Liesl, trying to predict her next move. It creates this wonderful shared experience across generations of fans. Looking ahead, I'm excited to see how the writers resolve the immediate danger to Lucas while still delivering the satisfying payoff against Cullum and Sidwell. Will Liesl have a change of heart at the last second, or will she commit fully and then deal with the consequences? Either path offers rich storytelling potential. Personally, I hope she finds a way to achieve justice without losing the moral compass that has guided her through so many previous crises. But I also understand that sometimes characters need to embrace their darker sides to protect what matters most. That complexity is what makes Liesl so compelling. The beauty of General Hospital has always been its ability to make us feel deeply for these characters, even when their choices are questionable. Liesl's internal struggle feels authentic because we've watched her evolution over the years. She's not a cartoon villain plotting for the sake of it. She's a grieving mother, a protective grandmother, and a brilliant scientist all at once. Seeing her navigate this impossible situation reminds me why I fell in love with the show in the first place. The emotional stakes are high, the suspense is delicious, and the potential for surprising revelations feels endless. I have no doubt that the coming weeks will deliver some of the most intense episodes we've seen in a while. The slow burn of that altered compound, the looming inspection, and the constant threat of discovery create a pressure cooker atmosphere that's hard to look away from. I keep thinking about how this will affect other characters connected to Windermere and the larger Port Charles community. Secrets like this rarely stay contained, and when they explode, they tend to change everything. For now, I'm savoring every moment of Liesl's careful performance. She's playing a dangerous game, but she's doing it with the kind of cunning that only comes from years of surviving in a world that has taken so much from her. As a fan who has cheered for her through countless trials, I find myself rooting for her success while also hoping she finds some measure of peace afterward. That balance of darkness and humanity is what keeps General Hospital feeling fresh and relevant even after all these years. There's something deeply satisfying about watching a character like Liesl refuse to be broken by those who underestimate her. Cullum thought he could control her through force and obligation, but he clearly doesn't understand the depths of a mother's determination. I suspect the upcoming confrontation will be one for the history books, filled with the kind of shocking twists that make us gasp and then immediately call our fellow fans to discuss. That communal excitement is one of the greatest joys of being part of this longtime audience. I remember how Anna's situation unfolded, the calculated moves, the sense of being trapped by forces far more powerful than she anticipated. Now, Liesl finds herself in similar peril, and it breaks my heart while also thrilling me as a longtime fan. Outwardly compliant as she worked on that unfinished project for Britt, Liesl has been playing a dangerous game with that altered biological compound. Turning it into a slow-acting poison was brilliant, but the risks were always there. With Lucas nearby and the inspection looming, her internal battle between protecting her family and seeking justice for Britt has only grown more intense. And now, this impending arrest changes everything. What strikes me most is how this capture represents one of those major adjustments the writers love to introduce, the kind that shifts the entire trajectory of a storyline. Liesl's future looks darker than it has in some time, and that darkness is causing the whole situation to explode in ways I didn't fully anticipate. It's as if her obsession with avenging Britt and neutralizing the threats from Cullum and Sidwell has birthed a new obsession, survival under impossible circumstances. I keep asking myself, will this be the moment that finally breaks her spirit, or will it fuel an even more determined comeback? Knowing Liesl's history, I'm confident she'll find a way to fight back, but the path ahead seems filled with shadows. The parallels to Anna's ordeal are particularly compelling. Both women are strong, resourceful, and unwilling to bow easily to tyrants. Yet Liesl's scientific expertise adds a unique layer. While Anna relies on her investigative skills and instincts, Liesl's weapon has always been her intellect in the lab. That modified compound could still play a crucial role, even after her capture. Perhaps she's planted safeguards or hidden clues that will activate at the right moment. I love speculating about these possibilities because they make me feel like I'm right there in Port Charles, piecing together the puzzle alongside the characters. As someone who has watched this show through countless family crises and vendettas, I truly appreciate how this development honors Liesl's complexity. She's not simply a victim here. Even in captivity, her mind will be working, calculating risks and opportunities. The new obsession tied to this adjustment, perhaps a deeper fixation on ensuring her loved ones remain safe while she's powerless, feels authentic to her character. We've seen her endure loss before, but this combination of physical confinement and the looming consequences of her sabotage creates a pressure that could lead to explosive revelations. I worry about the ripple effects across Port Charles. If Liesl is taken the way Anna was, who will step up to protect Lucas and the others at Windermere? Will this force unexpected alliances, or will it isolate her further? These questions keep me eagerly awaiting the next episodes. The writers have built such momentum that every scene feels charged with possibility. Liesl's dark future isn't just about her personal fate, it's threatening to upend the fragile balance at Windermere and beyond. That sense of everything boiling over is exactly what makes General Hospital so addictive after all these decades. One thing I particularly enjoy is how this storyline blends medical intrigue with raw emotional drama. Liesl's expertise in biology isn't just a plot device, it's central to her identity and her revenge. Even if Sidwell and Cullum believe they've neutralized her by capturing her, they may be underestimating the long-term impact of that poison. Slow acting means there's time for twists, time for her to potentially send messages or trigger contingencies. I have my own theory that this capture might actually accelerate her plans rather than derail them entirely. It's the kind of bold narrative choice that differentiates this arc from more straightforward revenge tales we've seen in the past. Of course, as a passionate fan, I can't help but feel protective of Liesl. She's already lost so much with Britt. Seeing her face, this new level of danger stirs up all those old emotions from previous storylines where she fought tooth and nail for her children. This adjustment in her trajectory, with its darker tones, reminds me that General Hospital isn't afraid to test its characters to their limits. But I also believe in redemption and resilience. Liesl has always found a way to emerge stronger, often through cleverness rather than brute force. I suspect the same will happen here, though the road will be rocky.